Hey everyone, this is Matt with Top Termite. We're back with another video of us doing a bora care application on a new construction site. And yeah, let's get into it. So we're starting off in the exterior of the building. It's a one-story commercial building. It's going to be like a facility for disabled people, blind people, kind of like a rec center for people with disabilities in Los Angeles. And so for this job, it's fairly big. You'll see later in the video. We decided to go with our spray rigs that are in the back of our pickup trucks. They're 30-gallon tanks. Pretty good PSI, so that we're able to spray some far distances. You know, when we want to get up to the ceiling, we need to be able to reach that height with the chemical. Right now, starting with the plywood and the exterior. Really want to focus on the rafters coming out and the fascia board. Those are definitely prime targets for termites going forward. And so this is a complete bora care job. So we're doing all of the wood around the building that we can get to, all of the exposed wood. Obviously, we're not doing the roof. They've already put the roof on, so we're not spraying that. But we're spraying everything else. And this is to protect against both subterranean termites and drywood termites. If we just sprayed a 2-foot band, which is 2 feet and down to the foundation, that would just be protection from subterranean termites. Which in Los Angeles, you really want protection from both. If you're just doing subs, you're almost guaranteed to get drywood termites at some point. So you might as well spray the whole building for both. And that's what this developer opted to do. The company that's contracting this building, they wanted to protect the whole thing from both drywood and subterranean. So that's why we're spraying both the exterior, interior, and the ceilings, and basically any exposed wood. Thankfully, they did not install windows yet, which is great, because once windows get installed and then you have us come, it makes our job a lot more difficult because we don't want to get overspray on the windows. The chemical is not going to damage the window per se, but it's sticky. And it'll stay on the window, and then someone's got to clean it off, and yeah, it's not fun. So always better to have us come before you install windows, and of course before you put in insulation and drywall. So this is like in a corner of the building, and that's me just hitting up all the wood that I can get to. What's nice about the rig that we have, see, I'm doing a more direct stream so that I can get higher, but I can change the nozzle and it'll make it more of a widespread spray. So I go back and forth depending on what I'm spraying. It would be nice to have a fan tip on that, but I don't think I've found a fan tip for that gun. Wearing a mask isn't necessary, but because we use bora care. Bora care is a boron mineral, which is not toxic really to humans. But the only reason I'm wearing a mask is because it was really windy that day, and I didn't want to overspray to get in my mouth. It doesn't taste good, and just didn't want it in there. And then goggles, of course, same thing. It's windy, so didn't want overspray getting in my eyes. But yeah, bora care it's an amazing product. So yeah, basically it's a mineral that the wood absorbs all the way through, and then for the life of the wood, it will basically kills off the food source for termites. And so if termites go to attack this wood, they will just die off over time because there's not a food source for them to latch onto, which is what you want. And you can't really detect it on the wood once it dries. You know, it takes about 24 hours to dry. Once it dries, you won't even notice that it's there, unless you put like a color dye in it so you know where you sprayed. But we don't usually do that. And so, yeah, the bora works really great. It also prevents fungus rot damage. So again, it'll prevent from fungus developing on the wood, which is great protection going forward. It's going to save the owner, the landlord of this building, a lot of headaches in the future of having to either tent because of termites, do wood repairs, fungus rot damage. It's a bunch of stuff that you don't want to deal with. So the cost of them doing the treatment today is much less than doing the treatment over and over, doing repairs over and over, tenting over and over the next 40, 50 years. So it's pretty minimal when you look at the big picture for the cost to do something like this. So yeah, as you can see with the trees, it's a pretty windy day. Not an ideal day to spray, but because this was a one-story, it was okay. It was acceptable, where we could do the job and feel good about it, that we're getting to all the wood that we need to get to. Windows are super important to make sure we get a lot of bora care on it and focus in those areas, because termites are attracted to light. So they're going to go towards windows. So we want to make sure we cover those areas. And this is on the interior, in that back corner. So now, just getting all the wood that I can get to. Something to note is that bora care on its own does not prevent mold from developing in the future. There is a bora care with mold care combination, but that is only to treat current mold. It is not to prevent mold from coming back. So the time to use bora care plus mold care is when you already have mold growth on your, let's say you have a remodel, you've torn apart all the walls, all the drywall is taken off, and you discover mold. That's when you'd want to use bora care plus mold care, and it'll kill off that mold. But it's not going to prevent mold from developing again, but it will prevent fungus growth from happening again and fungus rot. And I think that's a misconception with some people out there. They think, oh, if you're using bora care, it also prevents mold, and it doesn't. So just want everyone out there to be aware of that fact. So you can see I'm inside, so I have the mask kind of down. It's not really necessary because it's not windy inside, so I'm not worried about overspray getting in my mouth. Unless I start spraying the ceiling, then I'm worried about it. And so yeah, I mean, there was two guys. It was me and Christian. To do a building this size, I don't have the square footage. I'm assuming it's around 10,000 square feet, maybe a little bit more. One story. It took us about 3.5 hours to do the full building, which is fairly good timing, I feel like. I originally wanted more guys there. I wanted 4 guys total on the job instead of 2. We would have finished this in under 3 hours for sure. Probably would have used more chemical, but yeah, we would have finished it pretty fast. Which I like to do. I don't want to be on the job site all day. They got other guys working there. They're on the roof. They're not in our way of spraying chemical, but I don't like to be on the job site for more than 3-4 hours. I want to get in and out. And yeah. So this is a larger room. This is like part of the main room in the building. You can see Christian there spraying. He's got a little bit higher PSI in his gun, so in his rig, and he's able to spray pretty high up onto those ceilings and get those covered. This is probably, close to 18-foot ceilings, 16 feet ceilings. So, you need good PSI to reach that chemical. Or we need to get a long rod where we can spray up higher. We try not to go on too many ladders. That's a liability issue. We don't want to be falling off ladders on a job site. It's not good. So thankfully we have the spray rig. We do have the backpacks, but those are more for tight spaces, or just doing the exterior, like first floor 2-foot band treatment, or if it is 2 stories, we won't do the job unless they have scaffolding, and typically they do. If they're going to be putting up, drywall and stucco, they're going to have the scaffolding already in place. So we just get up on the scaffolding and spray. And that's pretty doable with a backpack. But for this type of building where it's a high ceiling and no second story, then we got to go with the spray rig and use the high PSI to get the spray up there. And you can see Christian there. He's rocking no gloves, no mask. He's totally fine being around the bora care. He's done it for many years, so he's a seasoned professional. So yeah, that's what it looks like. Spraying with the rig up close with the high PSI. Got some of the camera there. So yeah, we love doing jobs like these. It makes us feel good that we're protecting a building. I think that's pretty cool. At least from termites and fungus rot. Of course, earthquakes and fires and things like that. That's out of my hands. But if I could help protect the building from termites and fungus rot, which is a pretty large problem in Los Angeles, I would say at the very least hundreds of millions of dollars worth of termite damage is done every year to buildings. So we're happy to be a part of that and help slow the rate of damage done to buildings. So this is inside the main building. The camera is kind of blurred because we got some chemical on it, but yeah, super high ceilings, a lot of wood, but yeah, we did a great job getting it done. We're happy to work with this company, and we're excited for the next one. Hopefully we'll get a bunch more going, and I'll have more footage for you guys. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and if you have any questions about bora care, about doing a new construction pre-treatment, or even soil treatment, please reach out to us. We're Top Termite. TopTermiteCo.com is our website. You can reach us at 323-954-4900.